Hey everybody, welcome back to ChorteCast. I'm Jake, and today it's just me. This is a Jake solo special, and it's a very special episode because we're going to do none of the things we normally do here on ChorteCast, which is talk about video games, TV shows, movie, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. There's a lot of reasons for that, mostly because we have been off the charts, gone for almost a solid week, which is not how our content schedule is supposed to work. And so I just felt like I needed to use this podcast to just kind of catch up and say, hey, here's what's been going on, and kind of get everything back in order and get us cranked back up on a good note. The other reason that it's a solo special is because our boy Steven got hitched this weekend. So he and his lovely wife Anna, who you've seen on the channel before, are both headed to Alaska for their honeymoon. So everyone send them good vibes and good energy. But anyway, so normally this podcast probably wouldn't have happened, or it would have just, maybe it would have just been a Jake solo special. But again, since we've been so off the rails, I was like, all right, I'm gonna make this podcast happen, and we're just gonna sit and we're gonna have a chat. So anyway, normally you can get the podcast here on ChortleGames.com on Monday, 12 o'clock Central Time. You can watch it live. We hang out in the chat. It's a lot of good fun stuff. Like I said, we normally talk about video games, TV shows, movies, whatever the heck we want to talk about. And then you can also get the podcast as in a true podcast version on podcast services on iTunes. So a lot of good stuff there. But anyway, I just wanted to catch up, talk through what's been happening. So we have not had any content. Really, I guess the last thing that happened on the channel was a live stream that Steven did Monday night of Division 2. And so basically I have been through just the craziest week and a half. And so I just kind of want to walk through that and explain. This is the explanation of why we've had none of our regular content. Basically, last week, so that would have been... Sorry, I actually have to look at a calendar. That's how long this crazy process has been. So on March 18th, I found out that my grandmother, who I knew had broken her leg, was going to have a pretty serious surgery the next day. And so I pretty much dropped everything and went to the hospital to be with her the night before her surgery, and then during her surgery. And thankfully she came out of that completely fine, not completely fine, as fine as an old person can come out of a surgery. She had no complications. So but then I went home that night. We did a live stream actually that day, and then I woke up Wednesday and just felt like crap. Just felt really, really bad, really sick. So I went to the doctor. They tested me for mono, strep, and flu, and everything came back negative, but they were like, these are basically flu symptoms, so we're going to treat it like the flu. Gave me that, and I went home. And one weird thing that was happening was I was starting to get some sores in my mouth, and I wasn't sure what that was about. Sometimes I'll, rub my tongue against my teeth trying to get like something out of my mouth, and I'll get some bumps on my tongue kind of like from rubbing against teeth. And it was things like that just all over my mouth. And so went through the rest of the week. We were supposed to have a bachelor. Well, they did have a bachelor party for Steven that Friday, but I ended up missing. So we weren't going to have a stream that night anyway because of him. And then I think he did do a stream that Saturday night after. But by Saturday night for me, I could no longer eat or drink anything, because the sores in my mouth had gotten so intense that basically anytime I tried to eat or drink anything, number one, it tasted horrible. It tasted like someone had put ash in my food or water. And then number two, it just hurt. It hurt to drink. And normally when you drink or you're like thirsty and you drink water, you like get a relief, like, oh man, whew, that's good stuff, like that kind of thing. I wasn't getting that. So like I was not getting relief from drinking or eating. It hurt to drink and eat, and whatever I ate or drank tasted horrible. So it was very difficult to like do anything. So I went back to the doctor that Saturday. They diagnosed me with something and kind of gave me a mouthwash that just kind of numbs the pain. But then I went back again that Sunday and I was like, this is not okay. Like, I am not okay. Like, I'm gonna die. Like, whatever you can give me that is just gonna fix this, I need that. And so they ended up putting me on like some sort of really strong viral medicine. I mean, like the pills are like this big, they're huge. So I ended up being on that, and then I slowly started to recover. But basically, I was out of commission the rest of that following week. So this whole past week that we have had no content, that is because I have been just really, really struggling. Towards the end of the week, I started to feel better. I was slowly being able to like drink yogurt drinks or eat, food like that. And so I was starting to get better. We obviously were going to have Steven's wedding this weekend. So there was already there was no way that a Friday night stream or a Saturday night stream was going to work. And normally we do Let's Plays on Wednesday, but because I was so sick, I wasn't able to edit that in time. But then Wednesday night, really just to kind of put the craziest thing of the whole week, Lee Allison and I came home from actually looking at houses, and we found our cat Gatsby, who has been on the channel. He's on the first YouTube video we did. We found our cat Gatsby dead in our apartment. He had a heart attack and died, and there was nothing that could be done. And it was just devastating. We were so upset. And so from then I was dealing with not only being sick, but having to deal with that. So anyway, that is the explanation of like why we have not had any content for the last week, or at the very least it's been very sporadic, very strange. So I wanted to just I've always thought of the podcast as kind of a time where we can all huddle up and say like, hey guys, here's what's going on. Like, I've always thought of the podcast as even though like live streams, we can directly communicate with you guys, but I think of the podcast as more of like a formal setting for that, to just be like, hey, here's what's going on. So I just wanted to kind of give you that explanation. You may feel like, we don't owe you anything or anything like that, but to me, it's so important that we have consistent content on the channel, and that's why we try to have a somewhat consistent schedule. Really, the only thing that's kind of flip-floppy right now is our Tuesday-Thursday streams, because it's just kind of like, well, can we get together on Tuesday or can we get together on Thursday? And that means you're going to have a stream, on Tuesday or Thursday, but instead of, if we only did it on Tuesdays, can't do it on this Tuesday, so we'll have to wait. Anyway, the consistency on the channel is important to me. And so, whether, I certainly appreciate understanding, and in the Discord, you guys have been so great. I mean, when I was just sick, you guys were great. But then especially once we found out about Gatsby, you guys were all just so nice. And, it really just touched us to know that, you guys cared and that you guys were so understanding about the situation. But anyway, like I'm so appreciative of you guys being understanding, but at the same time, know that it hurt. Like, I don't like being inconsistent for you. So that's why I wanted to just come out and kind of just like, let's level the playing field. Let's say what, here's where we're at. But anyway, hopefully, moving forward, we won't have this again. I'm going to try to see, I'm working on ways where if I get sick, everything doesn't have to shut down. Steven can do live streams, but Steven doesn't edit the Let's Plays. He doesn't put the podcast together like I do. So those sort of things don't happen. And then obviously, Steven and I kind of trade back and forth on live streams, and then we'll, do individual live streams sometimes. but when one of us goes down, it's like, oh my gosh, that's half the team. So anyway, we're working on that. But this week is going to continue to be weird because our boy Steven is over there in Alaska, with his new wife. So he's not going to be on any content this week. So it's just going to be me. But I am no longer sick, or at the very least, I am like at the very end of my sickness. So we should have a somewhat regular schedule this week. There's going to be a couple days off. But by next week, we should be fully back in gear because we'll have Steven back. Hopefully, fingers crossed that I will not be any more sick next week. I don't know that I could handle that at this point. But anyway, so I'm just going to go straight into what I always do at the end of the podcast, talking about what we got coming up next week or in the next couple of weeks, whatever. This week, we've got we're going to have, again, Steven's not going to be here. So you got this podcast. This is going to serve our podcast for today. I'm sorry it's short. I'm sorry there's a lot of topics that have been going on recently that I've been really excited to talk about. But just situations have not lended themselves. So we're just going to kind of maybe when Steven does come back, we'll do like a big episode where we just like catch up on the topics we really want to talk about. But anyway, this is our podcast for today, Monday, 12 o'clock Central Time. Steven is gone, so we will not be having a Division stream tonight. However, we do the Division stream with our friends Friendly Fire Games. So go check them out, see if they're streaming tonight if you want to watch some Division. On Tuesday, we typically do a live stream on Tuesday or Thursday. This week, it's going to be Thursday, hopefully, or it's going to be Thursday. But we have a surprise, potentially. Brody, who I started the channel with, who is in our Discord, you all know him, he is potentially going to be streaming Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, which is a game that I bought while I was sick, thinking I might be able to play it, but then was not able to. He is going to play that Thursday, potentially, live streaming that. So, be excited about that. Look forward to that. If he, for some reason, can't, I will probably live stream it. So, but he and I were talking at the wedding, and he was like, I'm ready to get back in now that I'm kind of married. Once his wife moves in, we're going to talk to him about getting more involved. So that's going to help. Again, if one of us gets sick, at least we'll have 3 people this time. Anyway, so Brody may be here Thursday to live stream. Look forward to that. Wednesday, we will have a Let's Play. It's going to be me and Steven playing Overcooked. There's actually a funny bit in there where Steven talks about him and Anna playing Overcooked. So now that they're married, that's going to be kind of funny to look at. And then Friday, I will be doing a live stream, probably Tetris 99, something like that. I'm not sure. We'll play it by ear. But I'm going to be streaming Friday. And then Saturday, we will probably not have any streams. I'm actually leaving to go on a trip. Steven will be getting back from his honeymoon on that night, but he's going to be exhausted, and he's going to be on Alaskan time, so he's going to be confused why there's a sun. So he won't be live streaming. So that's kind of the only weird thing about this week is we probably won't have a Saturday stream. But anyway, when we come back that next week, should be full swing, all full steam ahead. The podcast is going to be weird next week because I'll probably be in Las Vegas and Steven will be where he normally is. So I don't know how the background's going to look. We're just going to play that by ear and see how that goes. I wonder if I could do a green screen with a yellow screen. I may try that. It may just look terrible, but we'll try it. Anyway, so it's going to be a little different next week. But, we will be kind of getting cranked back up into normalcy. So anyway, that's that. So I'm excited to get back now that I'm not sick. I'm ready to just jump right back in and keep rolling. Thank you guys again for your understanding and your kind words about me being sick and then Gatsby as well. It's so nice to know that we have you guys to come back to and everything. So we're gonna jump right back in and just keep rolling, keep this train rolling. We're excited. Like I said, Brody and I have been talking at the wedding, so hopefully he's gonna be joining us back in some content. So it's an exciting time. So I just, again, I apologize because consistency is so important to me. I apologize that it's been off the rails this week, but anyway, just wanted to come out, use the podcast, use this platform to say that and do that. So we're gonna have a good week. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Hope we see you in some live streams. We'll see you around.